What's up, everyone? We are here for another React Wednesday, and today we got, what was it, Shark? Unbelievable Places?
Unbelievable places, I think. I don't actually know.
Apparently, these unbelievable places do exist in the world, and we will find out where.
This world is pretty small. It's not like...
But I'll run this. I'm gonna drive the boat.
Let him drive the boat. I'm gonna let him drive the boat.
From the movie Avatar, or perhaps some other distant Earth-like planet. It's hard to believe these places exist on our own planet. Here are 15 unbelievable places that actually exist.
Right.
I've seen water
Number
like
15,
that before.
underwater waterfall, Mauritius. Mauritius is known
So I
for
can
its
see the
idyllic
bullshit.
beaches and crystal clear sea.
Bro,
But there's an unbelievable phenomenon in the southwest corner of the island that appears to be an underwater waterfall. Despite how it looks, this isn't actually a flowing region of water, but instead an optical illusion that happens because of the seafloor structure.
Okay.
The island sits on an ocean shelf
that
that is
shit
no
would
more
shoot
than
me
500
out.
feet deep. At the edge of the shelf, however, it soon plunges down to depths of almost 2.5 miles. And what you're actually seeing in the underwater waterfall is not water falling down into the abyss, but particles of sand that are being pushed over by the current. Number 14. Glowworm Cave, New Zealand.
I know
New
about
Zealand
this.
is one of the most scenic countries in the world, but beyond the peaks of the mountain ranges,
Only
the
reason I
deep
know
valleys,
about it
and the glaciers
is
are a series of caves that seem to have come straight from a fairy tale.
Never mind, I can't say
The
that.
reason for this is because they're home to glowworms. She's a fungus gnat that are endemic to the country. Known locally as titiwai, which means projected over water, the bioluminescence that's produced in the insect's abdomens is designed to attract prey.
It's like
and it
fireflies.
happens as a result of a chemical reaction between a luciferase enzyme and a molecule of luciferin.
Not really.
It creates
That'd be
one of
kinda
the
lit,
stunning
though.
sights that you can see
But
in the
it's a
natural
plant.
world. It makes for a magical boat ride through the cavern.
I thought that was a worm.
Yeah, isn't that? He
That's
said
what
glowworms.
Motherfucker glowworm.
Number 13.
It's a
Tianchi
plant.
Mountains, China. China's Tianqi's mountains in the Hunan province are some of the most unusual mountain formations in the world. Covering an area of around 17,000 acres, they're made from quartz sandstone and first began to emerge from the earth about 400 million years ago.
Emerge.
The subsequent erosion of the rock has
I was gonna
created
say,
these skinny
self-made.
mountains,
Yeah.
which reach a peak of 3,976
Nah,
feet,
motherfuckers
and
fell
are
apart.
named after the legend of a farmer who led a revolt against an oppressive regime who called himself the Son of Heaven. When the mountains are covered in mist, there's something mystical about them, and it's no surprise they were the inspiration for mountainscapes in movies like Avatar, and
say
are
that-
one of the most popular
But I said
tourist
that looks
destinations
like
in the region.
Avatar.
I can see it.
Number 12. Grand Prismatic Spring,
That's cool as
Wyoming,
fuck.
USA. The stunningly colorful Grand Prismatic Spring is in Yellowstone National Park and is the largest hot spring in the U.S. It's bigger than a football field at about 370 feet wide, and with a depth of at least 160 feet, you could fit a 10-story building inside it.
God.
The spring is fed through a crack in its floor, through which as much as 560 gallons of water is released into it every minute. Its normal temperature is 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
God
and
damn,
it's
that's-
get in that
surrounded
bitch.
by such vibrant rings.
This ain't shit.
Color is created
Hot
by the
as
presence
fuck.
of microbes that live in hot environments.
That is
And depending on
crazy.
the
I was about to
time
say,
of
I always
year,
wanted to
you'll
be
see
in, like, in the
reds,
spring,
oranges, yellows,
Like sit in the
greens,
spring,
and
you
blues.
know.
Yeah,
Those hot
160 degrees though.
That's too hot. That's too hot.
That's
Number
crazy.
11, Monte Roraima, Venezuela. We're so used to seeing natural formations that have irregular shapes that it seems almost impossible for something to have a rigid design to it. Monte Roraima in Venezuela isn't your ordinary mountain, though, and its 12-square-mile summit is surrounded by 1,300-foot-tall cliffs, almost in a square shape. It's actually on a tri-point border between Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, and has long been part of local beliefs. The Paimon and
Honestly,
Capon
that's
people
kinda cool.
believe it to be the stump of a giant tree that once bore all the fruits and vegetables in the world, and the seemingly unscalable cliffs have inspired a number of stories, including The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and
Is there a
Paradise
movie
Falls
about
from the
this?
movie Up.
Was there a tree at the top of
Number
that?
10, Lake Retba, Senegal.
Uh,
On the northwest coast of Africa, about 18 miles
Apparently
northeast
Up.
of the Senegalese capital, Dakar, is a lake like anything you'll find elsewhere in the world. Called Lake Retba, it has an extremely high salt content, and
I
this
know they
provides
showed it at
ideal
the end of the
conditions
movie,
for
Up.
Dulalayala salina algae to thrive. which are
Oh,
bright
he
red
just said
colored
that.
and make
Never
the
mind.
water
Don't
appear
worry
to be
about it.
pink. This unusual hue is far more prominent during
That's
the region's dry
crazy.
season between November and June.
There's a
and the
river
effect is
or
accentuated by the
something
magenta
in
bushes
Mexico
that grow around its shores.
that looks like it
The
has
lake is
the
an
same
important
thing.
economic center too,
It's
with
pink.
thousands of people who rely on retrieving and selling the salt deposits, as well as fishing the
It's
waters.
because of how salty it is.
Catches
makes it
here
pink.
don't quite match up to what's possible in other lakes, however, because to survive in such salty water, the fish only grow to around 1/4 the size they would do elsewhere.
Ew.
Damn.
So a
Number
quarter.
9. Red Beach, Panjin, China. China is a country
We gotta
that's
catch
full
like
incredible
20 of
geographic
these.
sites, but there's perhaps none as surprising as the Red Beach in Panjin. It's around the mouth of the Panjin Shongchaisi River, where the soil is so alkaline that very few species of plant can grow. One that does particularly well is the
That's
Suega
nice.
salsa, which has a deep red color and is why the region looks so remarkable.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
once
Pretty
thought
as
that
fuck.
Mars was red because it was covered in crimson plants, and if that were true, the beach at Panjin is surely how it would have appeared. With so many plants growing on the shores, the Red Beach is the largest wetland area in the world, and together with the largest reed marsh in Asia, which is also there, the whole region is a protected area of natural interest. It's home to more than 260 different species of birds and more than 400 species of other types of animals, including the rare red-crowned crane and black-mouthed gulls.
Makes me want to walk on it.
I think you probably would sink.
Before we
Looks
move
muddy
on,
as
be
fuck.
sure to subscribe to Top
sure you
5 with
subscribe.
notifications on.
To them and to
Number
us.
8. The
Subscribe
Crooked
to them
Forest,
and
Poland.
us.
Deep within a forest near the town of Grafino in Poland is a phenomenon that has confused researchers and visitors alike ever since it was first discovered. Called the
It's a
Crooked
tree.
Forest, there are an estimated 400
The
pine
fuck?
trees that have for some reason grown very
Fucking
differently
lost
to
in
normal.
Dr. Seuss's
It's thought that
woods,
they were
bro.
planted during the 1930s when the region was a part of Germany. And after
Hoodlum.
emerging from the ground like usual, they bent towards the north for several feet before growing upwards again. Number 7. Stone Forest, Madagascar.
Damn.
Madagascar is usually thought of as a place
That
with
shit
an
pointy.
unparalleled amount of biodiversity, but its geographical features are equally impressive. The Stone Forest, which
Doesn't
is
feel like he in
within
school
Simi-Devi
right now.
National Park.
Bro, I'm learning, bro. We learning today.
Deposits
Look
formed
how
on the
deep
bed
that
and
shit
due to
is.
tectonic activity were lifted above the
Bro, that
water's
shit's
surface.
pointy.
As
Fuck
the
the
lagoon
D.
receded, more limestone was
Oh
revealed,
shit.
and it was worn away by the monsoon rains over the following
Yeah,
millennia.
you see?
This, combined with groundwater erosion
I'm
that formed
just
caves
falling
that
into
subsequently
that,
collapsed,
bro.
has left a series of towers with canyons between them, which has resulted in the largest such formation in the world. Its name means where one cannot walk barefoot, and that's an apt
Duh.
warning.
No
These pillars,
shit.
some of which are up to 2,600 feet high, are sharp enough to easily cut through flesh or equipment, so have to
No
be traversed with the
fucking
utmost
shit.
of care.
Really? No.
These sharp ass stalagmite looking motherfuckers.
Number 6.
Who
Lake
would have
Baikal,
thought?
Russia. Lake Baikal, which is in southern Siberia, is the largest known freshwater lake in the world, which contains almost a quarter of our planet's non-saline surface water. At 5,387 feet deep, it's the world's deepest lake, and is also thought to be the oldest after forming around 25 million years ago.
And motherfucker
As you'd
driving on
expect,
that
there's a
bitch.
wealth of plant and animal life in the region, and it
Nah,
supports
bro,
countless
no
villages and tribes. But the thing that's particularly amazing about this
You're not even
place
gonna
is
catch
what
me
happens when
walking
it
on
freezes
this
over.
motherfucker.
Because it's formed in a valley, it's exposed to freezing winds that blow across its surface, and this leads to the creation of unbelievable ice structures that are hard to believe form naturally. Methane bubbles are often trapped in the ice. Small particles are blown together, frozen, melted, and refrozen to join into unusual shapes. And rocks can even be seen sitting on their own icy pedestals. At the right time of year, this is one of the most serene and awe-inspiring places on Earth.
What time of the
Well
year
worth
would
a
that be,
visit
goddamn?
if you get the chance.
I might want to go. I ain't driving on the damn fucking.
Number 5.
Gotta
Richat
drive,
structure,
bro.
Mauritania.
I'm on the ice.
Also known as the Eye of Africa, the Richat structure is a strange formation in the desert rock near the small town of Ouadane in Mauritania. The inverse dome is 25 miles in diameter and has exposed various layers of rock that appear like concentric rings. It's one of the easiest natural structures to see from
Look like
space.
a fish eye.
Amazingly, it's very hard to see from ground
Oh
level.
shit.
And if you were there, you'd probably be
They do look
unable
like
to
an
notice
eye.
anything different about it from the surrounding land. Quite how it was formed has been the subject of scientific debate ever since it was first discovered in the 1930s. The first assumption was that it's an impact crater from a meteorite, but the lack of evidence of any superheated rocks has ruled this out. Instead, it's been formed by millions of years of erosion of softer rock that was probably deposited during a time when the region was underwater. Quite why this happened in such a circular fashion is still unclear. There are ridges and valleys that follow the concentric lines of the Richat structure, and evidence has been found that humans have lived here for hundreds of thousands of years. Ancient artifacts have been unearthed that date back to the Stone Age, such as tools and spears. Strangely, however, none have been found at the center of this depression, which also discounts any possibility that this was a prehistoric mine of some sort. With such delicate rock, there are calls to make the structure a protected site to ensure it can be studied for years to come and, hopefully, reveal some of the secrets as to how this strange place came to be.
Yeah.
We're like ants
Number
to that.
4.
I think.
Fly
Yeah,
Geyser,
for real.
Nevada, USA.
You really got to think how
Fly Geyser looks
big
like it
these
would be at
things
home
are,
on an
man.
alien planet, but amazingly, it's only about 20 miles north of the town of Gerlach in Nevada. Although you might think this to be a natural formation, it actually is the result of human activity when a well was drilled in 1916 with a view to irrigating water.
So humans
Due to the
fucked it up.
geothermal
Cool.
activity in the region, the water was
and then called it art.
so the well was abandoned.
Right.
But a calcium carbonate cone began to form around the opening. A second hole was dug in 1964 by an energy company, but the water wasn't hot enough for their needs, so they abandoned it too. And the structure that formed around it is what we see today. It has a number of openings which the water shoots 5 feet high out of, and the entire structure is currently between 25 and 30 feet tall. Various platforms and pools have also been created across 74 acres. The water's unusually high silica content and the presence of algae that thrive in the conditions are responsible for the multicolored deposits that have solidified around it. And because it's heated to a temperature of around 200 degrees Fahrenheit,
Yeah,
it
nah,
produces
for real
quartz,
though.
something that usually takes 10,000 years to happen in other geysers. Even though there are a couple of other geysers nearby that have been formed in a similar way, none are as large or as impressive as the Fly Geyser is.
I bet you it's a
Therefore, one of
long
a
ass
kind and
walk
something
to
you
get to
won't
that
see anywhere
motherfucker
else
shit.
in the world.
Probably a long walk to any
Number
of these
3,
that have been shown
Nika
so
Mine,
far.
Mexico. What's the biggest crystal you've ever seen? Well, however large you thought it was,
What
God,
the
a
fuck?
team of miners discovered near Nika in Chihuahua, Mexico.
Chihuahua.
In
It's
1910,
killing.
a cavern was found
Nah.
at a depth of 390 feet, which has become known as the Cave
Nah.
of Swords. To their
God.
astonishment, it was full of gypsum crystals that were up to 3 feet 3 inches long. 90 years later, another mining crew took things a step further when they were drilling a new shaft and found the Giant Crystal Cave, which itself was 980 feet beneath the surface.
Damn.
Flooded with
If
hot
I was
water,
just
which
randomly
allowed minerals
doing
to
something,
deposit in
mining
crystalline
or
structures.
something, and I come
Largest of the
across
crystals
this.
to have been seen was 39 feet long, 13 feet wide, and thought to weigh
That's-
as much as
that's
55
insane.
I'm
tons,
instantly
which
thinking I'm a
makes it the
millionaire
largest one
or
ever to have been
billionaire
found.
if I come across this. It's
Conditions in the
mine.
cave aren't exactly inviting to people, though, with temperatures reaching 136 degrees Fahrenheit
I
and
care.
a 99% humidity. Humans can only be in there for up to 10 minutes without full safety equipment.
I don't
Even if
care.
you were prepared for this, it's not possible to visit the cave
Look at them.
currently. After a robber tried to steal a
Just
crystal
chilling,
and ended
just
up suffocating
safe.
and dying. It was shut permanently and allowed to
Fucked
refill
up.
with water
That's
in
what
the
he
hope that the
gets.
crystals can be preserved and continue to grow until improved methods of exploration become available.
Yeah, no shit.
Number
I
2,
left.
the Gates of Hell, Turkmenistan.
Hey.
Not only is
That's
the
where we
existence of the Gates of Hell in Turkmenistan hard to believe, but the way it was formed is perhaps even more difficult to believe.
I want to go see
If you
that.
had visited this place near the village of Devasa 50 years ago, it would have looked just like the surrounding
God damn.
desert, with
That'd be
sand
cool as
stretching out
shit.
in every direction you look. In the 1970s, the country was part of the Soviet Union, and the authorities were on a campaign to identify all areas of natural resources that could be
Sure.
mined and used to support the growing population.
Yeah.
In 1971, geologists arrived in the area and believed the ground below to contain a cavern that was full of oil. So they set up a test rig to drill down and take further measurements, but soon found there to be a large pocket of gas just beneath the surface. Now, there are no official Russian or Turkmen records of what happened next, but according to the sources close to operations at the time, the ground collapsed beneath the rig and swallowed the drill, as well as several top Soviet scientists.
Damn.
The remaining researchers were now faced with a problem. They could detect large quantities of methane being released from the hole they had just created, and believed this to be a possible health hazard. Their calculations suggested that the best way to deal with it was to burn the gas, and that it would run out within a few weeks. It was then decided to throw a grenade into the hole, and the gates of hell was born.
Yeah.
Someone calculated it wrong, because since that day almost 50 years ago, the hole is continually burned. The crater is now approximately 230 feet across and 66 feet deep, and is filled with fires, boiling mud, and ferocious orange flames. Plans have often been drafted to try and extinguish it for good, especially considering it sat above one of the largest natural gas deposits that are anywhere on Earth. But such is the scale of the problem that no one yet has found an adequate solution. Now it's one of the most popular tourist sites in the country and has become an area of biological research because of the organisms that have been found to be living in the center of the crater. It may perhaps burn out one day like the scientists in the 1970s thought it would. Based on current progress, it could be several more decades before it even seems to begin slowing down.
It burn out when we fucking die.
Technically man-made. God damn it.
Caño Cristales. The Caño Cristales is a small tributary river that feeds into the Guayabero River of Colombia. But due to its unique plant life, it's also commonly referred to as the most beautiful river in the world. The fast-flowing water passes through a region that's on the edge of the Amazon rainforest, the Andes, and the eastern Llanos, and is almost perfectly clear. The riverbed has numerous holes and dips in it because of the way the rocks caught in the current erode the bedrock, and this has produced the ideal locations for a species of plant called Macarenia clavigera to grow. During the summer months, it takes on a gloriously red hue and also provides shelter for other species to grow that adds yellows, greens, blues, and blacks into the mix. It's no wonder that this place is also affectionately known as the liquid rainbow.
Academia and the Macarena, put it together.
That it's real, even when they're standing right next to it.
It's a purple flower now.
Subscribe to Top 5s for more.
Hey, that Ring of Fire was cool. That river was nice.
That's the only thing I'm going to is the damn Ring of Fire. That's probably like the only thing.
What was everyone's favorite? Mine had to be the Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire, bro.
Crystals, just because them is just big.
The big crystals.
Hey, you heard him? He said somebody tried to go down there and get a crystal, then died because his ass couldn't handle it. Anyway.
Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.